Get ready to be amazed, because today we will dive into the world of multimodal AI with Claude 3. We are about to unlock Claude 3's secret superpower, its incredible vision capabilities. That's right, Claude can understand and analyze images, which open up a whole new world of AI interactions. Imagine this. You show Claude an image and you ask it to write a story about it. Or you can use a picture to spark your creativity. It's like having an AI copilot for your visual projects. And the best part, you can do all of this with the same Claude model we talked about last time: Opus, Sonnet, and Haiku. No need to switch things up, just start experimenting. On today's video, we will dive into practical examples of how to leverage these multimodal capabilities. So, get ready to discover how powerful and versatile Claude 3 really is. Let's get started. Welcome back, everyone. To experience Claude Vision capabilities, we can interact with images directly within the chat interface on Claude.ai through Console Workbench, or by making HTTP requests using Python. Just a heads up, multimodal LLMs, where the AI model like Claude can handle both text and images, are still super new. So expect even more awesome features as Claude keeps getting smarter. Now for our practical examples. We can either use local image files or fetch online images through HTTP. Let's start with our first example using local image file. Alright guys, before we start, I would highly recommend that you watch my previous tutorial about Claude, titled Step-by-Step Tutorial for Beginner. And I'm going to leave a link for it in the description of this tutorial. Let's now start with our example of using local image files. To display images in Jupyter Notebook, we have to install the IPython library, so let's do that first. We'll say pip install IPython-quiet. I'm running the code cell. Now in the current directory, there is a subdirectory called files, and there is an image called sun.jpg. So I'm going to create a variable called file name, which is going to be equal to the local image file as the following. Here we'll say file name is equal to file/sun.jpg. Okay. Note that the supported image files are JPEG, PNG, GIF, and WebP. Now I'm going to import the image class from IPython library. So I'll say here from IPython.display import image. Now let's display the image of the file name. Here we'll say image, file name, and I'm going to set the width to equal to 600, as we don't want the image to occupy the entire window space. For optimal performance, consider resizing your images before uploading them, as they might exceed size or token limits. Currently, your images should be less than 1568 pixels, or your image token should be less than 1600. If the image is larger, it will be scaled down while preserving the aspect ratio, which may increase latency. And also please keep in mind that these values are subject to changes, so always check Claude's documentation for the latest information. Each image included in a request to Claude contributes to your token usage. Alright, now let's run the code. And this is the image here. It's a picture of a sun taken from my window. Now Claude expects image file to be encoded using base 64. And to provide images to Claude as base 64, follow the following steps. First, we have to import base 64. And then we have to open the file in a read binary mode. So we'll say with open file name read binary as image_file. Then we will read the entire content of the image file as raw binary data. So we'll say here image_file.read. And we are going to store it in a variable called image underscore binary underscore data. And finally, we are going to encode the image binary data using base 64. So we'll say here image underscore base 64 underscore string is equal to base 64 dot base 64 encode. And here we are going to pass the image underscore binary data, and here decode UTF-8. Base 64 will turn the binary data into a text string, and the decode UTF-8 part decodes the base 64 bytes object into a string data that can be used by Claude. Now our image is ready. Let's see how we can interact with this image using Claude. And first, let me run the code to make sure it's working. And it's working. To work with Claude, we have to import the Anthropic library. So we'll say here from Anthropic, import Anthropic. And then here I'm going to create our client is equal to Anthropic. And for model underscore name is going to be equal to Claude Heiko as well. We have explained these things in my previous tutorial, so if you have any difficulty, just make sure to watch my previous tutorial. Now I'm going to create the messages list, which is going to be an array of dictionaries. So we'll say here messages underscore list is equal to an array of dictionary. For the first one, we are going to have a role, which is going to be equal to user. And for content here, this content is also going to be an array of dictionary. The first dictionary is going to be of type image and source. Let me scroll up so that you can see. And source is going to be here type base 64 and media underscore type. We have to pass media type. It's going to be equal to image slash JPEG. Okay. And then data, which is going to be equal to the image underscore base 64 underscore string, which we created above. All right. So this is the first dictionary for the content. Next, we are going to pass the text dictionary. Here we'll say type text and text. Here we are going to send our prompt. We'll say describe this image. All right. With this, we finish with the messages list. Now let's make an API call to Claude. So we'll say here response is equal to client.messages.create model is equal to model underscore name max underscore tokens is equal to 1024, and then messages is equal to messages list. All right. Now to check the response, I'm going to print here the text. We'll say here print response dot content at index 0 dot text. All right, guys. So this is how you interact with images in Claude. In the content here, we pass two dictionary. The first one was of type image, and the second one was of type text. Let's run our code now and make sure everything is working fine. I'm running the code now. And perfect. We get the response from Claude. It was able to figure out what is in the image and to describe it. This image depicts a stunning sunset over a cityscape. Let's check with another prompt. Let me just comment this line here. We'll say text, write a haiku about this image. Let's run the code. And great, we get the haiku poem as well. Okay, so we have seen how to interact with local images using Claude, step by step. But let's be honest, Typing out all that code every time we want to ask about a different image is a bit tedious, right? To streamline our workflow and save some precious time, we are going to create a handy function. This function will take care of all the heavy lifting for us, encoding the image, sending it to Claude, and returning the API response. Here's how we will define our chat with image function. So here we'll say define chat with underscore image. It's gonna take the following arguments. The first one is the image binary underscore data, then image underscore type, and the default value is image slash JPEG, then text underscore prompt, which is equal to describe this image. Describe this image as default value. Okay, and then model underscore name. Let me just here press enter. Model underscore name by default is going to be equal to Claude 3 Hayiko, and the max underscore tokens is going to equal by default to 1024. Okay, now I'm going to copy the required files. I need the Anthropic library and the client. Okay, then we need the import image base 64 here. Let's organize our code, and we need this line as well for encoding the image. Okay, for the messages list, I'm going to copy it as it is, and the response as well. Okay, so here let me copy this whole code. We need all of this. Then we paste here, and let's fix our code. So it's going to be like this. Now for the image or the media type, instead of hard coding the value here, we are going to say here image underscore type. Okay, and image base 64. And for the text here, let me just delete this and this as well. And then here we'll have text is equal to text underscore prompt. Okay, and instead of print, we are going to return the response. So here we'll say return response.content.text. Okay, let's run our code, make sure it's working fine, and it's working. So now instead of writing all that code again, we can simply call this function, pass it the image data and any custom prompt or setting. It's much more efficient way to work with multiple images. Okay, so let's now test this function. Let me grab this code from here. Okay, and here let me paste it, and let's hard code the files /sun.jpg. Okay, now instead of encoding the image file here, which we are doing now inside the function, let's call the function. So I'll say here response is equal to chat with image, and then here I'm going to pass the image binary data, and for text underscore prompt, let's say describe this image in great details. Okay, and finally I'm going to print the response. Let's run the code cell. Alright, we get the response. So this means that our function is working as expected. Now we can use it to work with different image files. Now let's see how we can unleash Claude visual capabilities on online images. For this example, let me just first type here online image. Okay, so for this example, I'm going to grab an image from the web, from Pixel's website. It's a free image. So here I'm going to say image underscore URL is equal to the following, and let's display the image. We already imported the image class, so we'll say URL is equal to image underscore URL, and width equal, let's say 400. Okay, Let me scroll up a little bit and let's run the code. Here is our image. Now to work with this online image, we need to fetch it into our code. We will use the HTTPX library to do that. Here's how. First, we have to import HTTPX. Then we'll say response is equal to httpx.get image underscore URL. Alright. After that, we are going to check if the response.status code is equal to 200. This means it's success. We are going to print a message, image fetched successfully. Alright. And then we are going to say here image underscore binary underscore data is equal to response dot content. Okay. Sometimes we might face an error while using the HTTPX library. So if it's 200, this is what we are going to do. Else print failed to fetch image status code response status code. All right. Now let's run the code cell and image fetched successfully. Now we have the image binary data. Now let's define our prompt. So say here prompt is equal describe this image and what breed is this animal in the image. Okay. And now I'm going to pass this prompt along with the image binary data to the function that we created before. All right, so here we'll say response is equal to chat with image. And here I'm going to pass the image underscore binary data, image underscore binary data, and then text underscore prompt is equal to prompt, and max underscore tokens is equal to 2048. All right. And finally, I'm going to print the response. All right. Let's run the code cell. And we get the result. The image shows a close-up of a cat's face. Okay. The cat has a typical coat pattern with stripe and spots. So that's how we can use local image files and online image with Claude. In this part of the tutorial, we are going to put Claude's vision capabilities to the test. We will see how well it understands handwritings and charts. Let's start with a note from a biology class from the Anthropic cookbook. Alright everyone, time to put Claude's vision skills to the test. We are going to use an image straight from the Anthropic cookbook. It's a handwritten note from a biology class. Let me show you the image. If you go to Anthropic cookbook in GitHub and then you go to images folder and then to transcribe folder, you will find here a school notes. This is the image that we are going to use to test Claude vision capabilities. We are going to ask Claude to do something pretty amazing. Transcribe only the text on this note. No explanations, no interpretations, just the raw text. And we are going to use the same function that we defined before, chat with image. Let's see if Claude can decipher the student's notes. Let's go back to Jupyter Notebook now. To save time, I'm going to copy and paste the code from before. So here, let's copy this code cell and paste it here. And let's grab the URL of the school note. This is the URL. Let's run the code cell. And this is the note. Please note here the extension of this image is .png. All right. Next, I'm going to copy this code cell again. Let's run the code. And image fetched successfully. All right. Now, finally, let's copy this code cell. Paste it here. And here we are going to change only the prompt. We are going to ask Claude to do the following. Transcribe the text on this image, only output the text and nothing else. Alright, and here I'm going to pass as well image type is equal to image/png. Okay, let's run the code cell now. And there you have it. Claude has successfully transcribed the handwritten text from the image. This is just a small example of how Claude vision capabilities can be used to tackle real-world challenges like digitizing handwritten documents, making information more accessible, and so much more. Now let's dive into another example from the Anthropic cookbook that demonstrates Claude's impressive ability to understand visual data. This time we will use a chart from an annual report. Now at first glance, this seems like a standard bar chart, but let's see how much information Claude can extract from it. Let's go back to Jupyter Notebook. Again, to save time, let's copy the code from here. And let's grab the URL of this chart. This is the URL. Let's run the code cell. This is the report. Then let me copy this code cell. I'm running the code cell. Image fits successfully. Now let's copy this code cell as well. I'm going to paste it here. Then we are going to change here only the prompt. We are going to ask Claude the following. What was the company total revenue in 2015? Let's check on the chart. On the chart, it displayed 2015. It was $130 million. So let's run the code and check. And perfect. The total revenue in 2015 was $130 million. Claude not only understands the chart, but it was able to pinpoint the exact revenue for the year 2015. This demonstrates how powerful Claude's vision capabilities are when it comes to extracting information from visual data. So now just imagine the possibilities. You could use Claude to analyze financial reports, scientific data, or even historical documents. So far, we saw how to use text and images with Claude. Now I'm going to show you how to ask questions about multiple images at once. You can include up to 20 images in a single request. Let's see how. So now for our final example, let's push Claude's vision capability even further. We are going to work with two images simultaneously from Anthropic cookbook as well. This time, two photos of a car odometer. One reading at 140 and the other reading at 70. The goal here is to demonstrate how we can ask Claude about both images in a single request. This is especially useful when you want to compare or contrast visuals or analyze a sequence of events. Let's go back to Jupyter Notebook and see how. Again, to save time, let me copy and paste the code from before. We have already explained this code. So let's go to here. Let me just copy this one. And I'm gonna paste it twice. Here I'm gonna have first underscore image URL, and here second underscore image URL. Now let me grab the URL for both images. Here's the URL for the first image, and here let me copy and paste this as well. Let's run the code cell, and it's reading at 140. Now I will grab also the second URL of the second image, paste it here, and also copy and paste this one. Let's run the code cell, and it's reading at 70. Let's also copy the other code from here, Ctrl A, Ctrl C, and I'm going to paste it twice. Alright, here I'm gonna call it first underscore image binary data, and here second underscore image binary data. And let's copy this URL, this variable, sorry, to here, and the same for the second image. All right, we have already explained this. Okay, so let's run the code cell. Image fits successfully, and also for this one as well, image fits successfully. All right, now we have to write the code to send a request with multiple images. And to do that, let's go back to the beginning here, just to save time as well. Let me copy this code. Okay. I'm going to paste it here. If you remember here, we said content is an array of dictionary, and we pass an image and a text prompt. So here we are going to pass, instead of one image, two images. So here for type, it's going to be image, source, type, page 64, media underscore type, image slash png. We have to change the one above, and data is going to be second underscore image underscore page 64 underscore string. And here let me type first underscore image, and here png, and I have to add here one comma. Okay, and let me just copy this one and this as well. All right, and let's delete this text from here. And the first image is going to equal the following, and instead of image binary data is going to equal to first, and the same here. Okay, now for the text prompt, how are these images different? Write the key differences. What are these pictures about? Okay, so we are passing the two images and the text prompt, and here we encoded into page 64. So let's run the code cell and make sure everything is working fine. Amazing. And we get the key differences between the two images. The speedometer / odometer needle position has changed, indicating a different speed or distance traveled. These images appear to be from a vehicle dashboard display, showing the speedometer / odometer. Claude has successfully analyzed both images and identified key differences. This also opened up a whole new world of possibilities for analyzing visual data at the same time. We could use this to compare product design, track its changes over time, or even analyze medical images for diagnosis. Alright everyone, we have reached to the end of this tutorial, and we have just scratched the surface of what's possible with Claude's incredible vision capabilities. The potential for innovation and creativity is limitless. If you want to learn more about Claude model, stay tuned because I'm preparing more advanced tutorial about it. And if you have any question, or if you want to share what kind of projects you are most excited to try with Claude Vision features, please leave them in the comment below. And if you enjoy this tutorial, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and ring the notification bell. Until next time, happy coding.